seekers. We're here at 212 Arts in Manhattan with Zephyr. I could not be more excited about this. It's really such an honor to get to talk to you.
Well, they always say that, and then they get to know me and realize I'm incredibly boring, and then they revise their anticipation and excitement quickly.
So we'll circle back, and I'm sure at the end I'm still going to think it was an honor. How did you get involved in graffiti writing in the 70s?
In certain circles, it was so, I guess, accepted among youth as a sort of a normal teenage practice, that I knew some families where the sons and daughters all wrote graffiti. It just was sort of like, you had a tag, you made up a name for yourself, and to varying degrees, you go out and try to put it around. When you turned 16, you could actually get sent away. And so a lot of kids quit when they turned 16. If you got caught doing something illegal when you were a kid in New York City, you got issued something called a JV card. I kid you not, this is straight out of the Bowery Boys, Little Rascals type stuff, but it actually is true. Ask anyone who lived through it. They give you a juvenile, a JD card, a juvenile delinquency card. The police will tell you, you need to keep this on you at all times, so that, well, they wouldn't tell you why, you need to carry this on your person. Well, the explanation was that because when you get caught again doing something illegal, the policeman will turn your pockets, find the JD card because you're a dumbass and you actually did what we told you and didn't question it because you're 14 and we're like scary policeman that you listen to whatever we say. And he sees you have a JD card, well then, now you're in the deeper, you've gone to the next level, and I probably did get one issued to me.
You still have it on your person, right?
Yeah, I've always carried it on my person, lest I violate the rules of carrying it on your person. But, oh man, I wish I still had that. We used to hang out in certain parts of Central Park that we considered our little congregational spots. And if you showed up and you were like, look at that guy, you were like, dudes were like, oh yeah, that's awesome.
One of the things that you definitely did pioneer at that time was bridging the gap between putting up work on the streets and then also in a traditional gallery.
I certainly did not come up with anything in the way of mediums, a subway car. No, that was completely already written in stone as this is what you do. So in that regard, I'm the most unoriginal guy because I simply was a sheep that follows the herd because I was like, oh look, they're painting the subway cars. I mean, I rode the subway cars and I wrote on the subway cars while I was riding on the subway cars for years before I actually was standing in front of a parked subway car that I could utilize as a so-called canvas. So I was waiting and hoping and looking for that access, and it eventually came in the form of a guy named Bill Rock, who was our leader and founder of our graffiti crew, which was called the Rolling Thunder Writers, which he was the president of and created, and he was basically the one who was like, I got a place, and there's trains, and I'm gonna take you. And broad daylight, although it was a tunnel, so it didn't matter. It was broad daylight week. I think it was a broad daylight weekday, and the next thing you know, we're like, oh my God, this is awesome! Trains as far as I can see, and there's nobody around. This is awesome. And we spent years after that, just on a regular basis, that became our art studio, and those trains became our. I'm gonna do it again. Our canvases in '80 when the media. New York City, first the local New York City media and then national, got really crazy over graffiti, and it was kind of a cute story because the Fun Gallery opened and it was oh, graffiti writers, they're putting their art on canvas and trying to sell it. It had a sort of bad makes good, cleaning up. It was a cleaned up version of the story that they could then write about. But to be fair, the media also paid a lot of attention to graffiti in general. I remember Cena and I took this woman, Virginia Whitcraft from the Daily News, like to the 6 yard, like with us, just so she could write a story about, you know, going undercover and actually going into a train yard with actual graffiti writers and painting actual trains. If you call yourself a street artist and you're not doing street art as a step up to, I call it the white wall world of the galleries, that world has been here before your parents were born, and it'll be here long after termites and worms eat your dead body. So like, you do not, no offense, dude, but you do not have to kowtow to the white wall world, okay? Let them come to you and say, we think you're important, we have a gallery, we'd like to put you in it. Okay, that's all fine and good. Do not use street art as like a leg up to that world. When you're doing that, you have bastardized the medium.
And denigrated it too.
I mean, you just look silly. You just look silly. I mean, it's like the whole point of the oeuvre that you consider yourself a practitioner of is to supplant that blueprint.
Is there an overall takeaway message that you hope people have when they see your work?
People should have fun making art. I'll put it like this, like I have a reputation for being difficult. No, I'm not difficult. I just, if it's not comfortable to me, I say no. If I'm not looking over my shoulder for the police, they're gonna shoot at me, like, it just doesn't feel right to me. That's just how I roll. I try to be like, if it feels good, then it's good.